Hello and welcome. It's good to see so many participants. I'm happy to see you all. And we'll just get we're just waiting for the last people to arrive, but it's now 10 o'clock Central European time. And it's a pleasure to see you all. And let's slowly get started. So this is a little about the webinar information. You have all been muted. This means that I will be able to communicate to you without disturbance, and we will not have interruptions as well. It's possible for you to raise a hand. While the presentation is going on, I'm going to pause at some intervals for questions. And then we can take the questions if you have any. There's a Q&A field in your area, and you can write your questions there. So we'll address them at a later stage. We are recording this webinar, just so you're aware. The webinar has been recorded for our internal evaluation as well as also for later streaming. The plan is to make an edited film ready on our homepage at a later stage. So today I will be presenting. My name is Johnny Bundgaard. I have been with Danimex for ages. I started in 1997, so I've been around. My email address is there. If you have any questions after the event, then you can write to webinar@Danimex or to my personal email. It's jbu@Danimex. So please feel free to do that. So I'm going to talk a little about Danimex. Danimex has been in the communication industry for more than 30 years. We are very good at two-way radio solutions. We support our partners so that they are ready to provide a turnkey solution if they desire. We can also provide box shifting if that's what you want, but we can also aid you in all of this. So our vision is a world that empowers people to communicate without limits. That is our vision. A little about Danimex on the milestone side. First order placed with Motorola. We just went, and then the founder of the communication part went and placed an order for 10,000 USD, brought it to Nigeria and sold it off down there. And that's basically how the communication business started. Then the Communication Limited was established in 1992. And there was we opened the HQ in Sonderborg at the time, and shortly after we moved to Nigeria, where we also opened an office. In 2001, we became one of the first TETRA subscribers. And in 2002, we opened the office in Afghanistan. That's my little baby, because I actually was the country manager at the time. So we opened an office in Kabul, Afghanistan, and I was running that for more than a year. It was a good experience. The same year, we became the single largest Motorola distributor in the EMEA region. We also opened an office in the Middle East. In 2005, the corporate HQ was opened or built, and we moved into that in 2006. This is the one that's on the front page of our slide deck. Then in 2013, we opened our branch in South Africa. We started our production of the Dan-point HF radio. And we also got new markets in the Maghreb and the Nordics on Motorola. And here in 2020, there has been, the last 6 years, there's been an ongoing transition that sort of prepared for the generation change that was finalized here in 2020. So Charlotte and Henrik took over the family business. So they are now managing director and still CEO and chairman of the board, Henrik. So what is Danimex? What do we do? First of all, we have communication equipment on our portfolio, but we have a wide dealer network throughout Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So these dealers are appointed by us and Motorola, And then we are trying to give them a comprehensive knowledge of the portfolio through webinars, through trainings, etc., to make them available, capable of providing more solid support within the country. We are only dealing through dealers. We do not deal with end users, except for the NGO and NGOs where we have long-term agreements. The UN has a rule that they want to, if they can, go directly to the manufacturer, and as distributors we are just below the manufacturer, and that's the reason why we have agreements with those. And then we have Danimex offices that also handle dealers, etc. Good long-standing partners. So our offices is the HQ, which is based here in Sønderborg in Denmark. It's the southern part of Jutland in Denmark. Everybody thinks we're in Copenhagen, but we're not. Copenhagen is good, but easy access. But for shipping goods, we are just, it could be anywhere in Denmark because we have daily pickups of all the courier services, etc. Then we have one in the Middle East, in Dubai, and we have the South African office. We also have a rep office in Kenya and in Afghanistan. We do not have a person in Kenya right now, so that position is vacant. A little more about the people in Denmark. In the Nordic regions, we have Ove and Dorte, who are handling the Scandinavia and the global operations. Then we have Africa session, and there we have people handling Africa, both east and west. The southern part of Africa is handled by our South African office, full-blown office with staff, maintenance, technical, supply, accounting, everything is down there. In the Middle East, we have an office as well. The same thing applies. It's a full-blown office with all the facilities. And they're also taking care of our Afghan office and the region in the Middle East. As I said earlier, we do have some UN accounts directly, and they're also handled by René and Denise. And then we have Mark. Mark is handling both UN support as well as product and business development. So he has two hats on. On the customer support side, those are the people who you normally deal with daily. On a daily basis, Jane, Karen, Lone, Liu, Tanya, and Sahar. These are the customer supporters that are supporting the office or all the functions. They are handling everything from clearing, quoting, everything. That's what they do. So they are very, very important persons. On the technical support side, we have a comprehensive technical support team, which is run by Rainier. And on the right side, you see me. So we are the ones that in technical department has been here for the longest. And then we have Gazi, Reza, and Mark, all capable of supporting you. And we all have our field of expertise, but on the general note, we have a lot of we have a lot of years of experience amongst each other and on different levels. Then on the workshop, we have 3 people handling builds and integration, as well as repairs and support. So they are handling all this. The support takes me to the next level. We have a support system, an online support system, which we actually urge you to use. It gives a unique support system because you open a ticket. And this can be achieved by going on support.danimex.com or send an email to support@danimex.com. That will open a ticket, and then we will try and address it. The beauty about the support system is that it's not relying on one person. I may be traveling, I may be doing something else, so it's a bad idea to use me as a person. But if you use the support system, then you are joining the team that I will show in a moment that will handle all this. You can always log on to the support system after opening a ticket and follow your ticket. How is it going? We are using the support system for RMA as well as for technical support. So basically, technical support on the technical side, we are the full technical team, and also the people in South Africa and Middle East are also doing support on our system. On top of that, we have our supports. What can we do for you on a technical level? We can provide a system design for you. We have a complete, with all the staff we have amongst ourselves, we can provide any service you want. We can design a system all the way from the ground on DMR tier 2 or DMR tier 3. We can do TETRA, we can do infrastructure, we can do terminals, we can configure systems for you, we can do factory acceptance tests and site acceptance tests. We can help you on the installation and supervise installation. We have our support ticketing system just mentioned. And with this, we also have remote technical support, and we can provide you with all the information that you would like. We also have education and product trainings. I'll come back to that at a moment. And project management. We can do everything that you want. In addition to this, we can also support you with some other things. And let me try and run through that. 1 second, please. Okay. So what can we do to support you? Well, we have some funding, and I think that's the next slide deck that we're going to look at, and some marketing, and of course the staffing and the skills. So on the funding side, when you look at this from when you register as a client, as a dealer, as a partner of Danimex, you will get some standard conditions. So that's where we have standard conditions on the signing on as a Danimex partner. After some relationship has been done and credit evaluation, then we can move to be a little better partners, and you can have some letter of credit conditions or other things. On a project base, we can actually help you getting letter of credit, deferred payment, or EKF. And EKF is very interesting. EKF is Denmark Export Credit Agency. It's a Danish EKF, is the Danish words for it. That will help you and us to get a credit, guarantee through your bank to warrant for your either stock or a stock investment, and then we can do short-term financing on that. Or for example, if you're opening a new location, office, warehouse, and if you have large customers who require you to have stock, then we can help you finance this using the EKF system. EKF is something that we have people who can aid you in, and they can help you do that, and then we can provide you with the hardware. On top of that, we can. It could also be a project, a large-scale project, where you may need assistance in investing in all the hardware. So that is an option for you. We in Denmark has worked hard to increase the skills of the staff, so we have the skills to support you, both on the technologies, but also on the EKF and etc. If you have any questions to EKF, you need to communicate and talk to your sales accounting person, because that's where these questions should be addressed. On the marketing side, we can provide you with trainings. We have a lot of training sessions. We've done Danimex Academy for the last 4 or 5 years. However, Danimex Academy is sort of we decide the curriculum, You buy a seat, you come and attend our training, and you get a certificate from us. But for during my engagement with Danimex, we have been conducting training all the way. So we can always provide you with a custom-made training if so desired. On the marketing side, we can also help you with the co-op. There's a lot of co-op activities and within the Motorola section, so it's possible to get some of your activities co-funded by co-op through Danimex from Motorola. So let's have a look about that. Again, your key account manager is the one to address for that purpose. It's also possible to make specific brochures. If you want to, we can aid you in making your own flyers, brochures, posters, etc., co-branded with your company logo if you so desire. So, big question is it worth it? And can Danimex aid you? Yes, it is worth it. We have been appointed the best use of online marketing in EMA 2019. So yes, it is actually worth considering doing this. Google AdWords. How does people find you? How do they find you? How do they find you? There's always the mouth to ear, but there's also a lot of things happening on the World Wide Web today. So there's something called Google AdWords. So in the online marketing, it's possible to sort of define the segment and the country and the region where you would like to do Google online marketing. For example, here's an example of South Africa. So we can provide a list of AdWords. So these could be, for example, if we are making if people search for a radio model or mining or lone worker, etc., then we can make a list of words. We can divide or create the budget between you, Danimex, and Motorola, and who will contribute with what. Then we can build a website, and that website could be looking like this, where we help you do this. Here on the left side, your name and contact details could be your logo, and then it's possible for the client to register himself and what do you want to know more about. One specific campaign we participated in actually resulted in more than 50 leads, and the time frame that it was running was 3 months, and it gave 5 big opportunities. I have actually put some links up for some animated videos. However, in this forum, it will not give any credit or any idea to start it because the audio will not go towards you. So I will not do that, but the slide deck will be made available to everybody, and then it's possible for you to play them back later by pressing the link. Danimex Academy, that's one of the things that I'm running. Me or one of my colleagues have designed the Danimex Academy training program. We can do very comprehensive courses on all the products that we're selling. We can do Danimex, we can do Motor Turbo Tier 2, Tier 3 trainings, Capacity Max. We can do TETRA trainings, both on the portable side and on the infrastructure side. We can do Campion trainings. So anything you require, we can aid you with this and provide you with the training. Most of our spring schedule was postponed because of Corona or COVID-19, but we hope to be able to pick up in the autumn so we can start running some training courses again. Training courses is is open to everybody who wants to participate. However, we have some prerequisites that we think you should have in order to gain proper learning from the training course. It's a very, very comprehensive hands-on training. It's 5 days training normally. But in these COVID-19 days, we have actually developed a platform and a solution where we can provide online training sessions. And they will actually require you to have some radios on location, and then I will teach you, or my colleagues will teach you, how to program them and operate them. So this has been done with success in the past, and we are fine-tuning the concept. It's almost a classroom training, but not full a classroom training. So it's possible for us to do that for you in case you so desire. Then there's this webinar series. We are hosting 2 lines of webinars currently. One is for Africa and Middle East, mostly focusing on Motorola and subsidiary products. We're also producing a slide webinar series for the Nordics, which also includes some of the Hytera products that will also be available. So we have different things. May 12th, that's today, the Danimex Corporate Intro on Products. So this is what we're doing right now. Next week, the plan is to talk about Motorola motor turbo technologies. And that will range all the way from analog radios and all the way up to capacity max, taking a detour on different other technologies with voting and other things like this. So that will be, we will be looking at that. Then we are talking about a little more about products, basic products, Motorola, the bases and repeaters. We'll look into 86, the body-worn cameras, and then we have some additional supporting products like control solutions and Cambium. Those will be in June trainings. We are planning on more, and because you've registered for this, you will automatically be invited to the additional trainings that may occur. Danimex has a huge stock. We can provide you radios, same-day delivery in case you want. We have daily pickups. One of the things about our stock is that we keep a certain amount of radios in stock, and it's important to us that you, as our partners, make predictions of what you will require in the future. Otherwise, we may run into problems that we may not have the stocked item that you want. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We pride ourselves to be the one-stop shop for your communication requirements. Like, you want to have a do you want to have a complete solution with solar packs, batteries, power sources, radio, antenna, and mast, etc.? We can provide you with that. Segments. Well, it's basically every segment that you can imagine. We will provide hardware to do that. So now I'm opening for the questions and answers. So I'm just opening my questions. If there's anything that's occurred along the way, then we can address them now. It doesn't appear to have any questions at this stage. Okay, but you can write questions any time during the webinar, and then we can address them after, but it doesn't appear that there are any at this stage. So we'll pick them up later. Then we will look into our brands and product portfolio. And we have a huge amount of products, all related to some sort of communication or battery or anything like this, then have a quick look at them. So here's more of a summary. Motorola solutions, 86, Avigilon are very comprehensive camera solutions. 86 are body-worn cameras. Then we have Turbonet and Smart PGT. Those are the control room solutions that are used together with Moto Turbo and TETRA. Then Victron Energy, we have the whole Victron Energy platform, and we have actually made, I'll come back to that. So on the satellite side, we have Inmarsat, Soraya, Iridium. On the antenna sides, we have Procom. It's been acquired by Amphenol, but we still Lambda and Web from the different regions. On the we have Cambium Networks, which provides IP connectivity. Gold Zero, which can provide small solar systems, etc. I'll have a little slide on that. Roller Tube. Then we have DAMM. DAMM is providing TETRA and DMR Tier 3 infrastructure. Then we have the Danimex standpoint. We have Hytera in the Nordics. Then we have some other products based on push-to-talk over cellular. So that will be Tasta, Telo Systems, and Hytera. But let's have a look at some of them here now. There's no doubt about it that bread and butter is the Motorola DMR portfolio. We have in separate years been one of the biggest distributors in the world on DMR, but we're still pretty good on that, and we can provide you everything. The beauty about the DMR portfolio is that it can do anything from analog all the way up to Tier 3 capacity max, and you can use the same device for it. That is sort of what it's boiled down to. If you have a DP4801E, then you can it can do everything for you, all in the same product. So it's built on the ETSI DMR standard. We support a lot of call types, voice, data, text, GPS. And of course, it supports analog and digital modes of operation. Then we also have the TETRA we have Diametra Express. That's the latest Diametra. 15 minutes from you get the box until you are on the road running it. It's a very, very nice user interface. It's easy to configure, and then you are running. And you can expand on the Diametra Express. So that is going to be the future on TETRA. Plus, it's relatively okay priced compared to previous TETRA systems. On the Hytera side, there's DMR Tier 1, 2, and 3, as well as TETRA, both infrastructure and terminals, plus VDA, video cameras, etc., and a range of analog radios. So that's for the Nordics. On the push-to-talk over cellular, we have different products where Motorola, for example, they have their wave solution. Hytera's got their different high-talk and PPOC solutions. We have Ecom, Tasta, and Telo Systems, all providing servers and solutions based on push-to-talk over cellular. On the control room solution side, we have Smart PGT and Turbonet that works on Motorola's DMR portfolio as well as the TETRA. So those are both very, very good. You can do voice dispatching, job ticketing, lone worker and alarming, and geofencing. The whole thing is there. They are both very, very strong products. On the Mast solutions, we're looking at the Mast solutions from roller tube, and we also have some aluminum masts from Spider Beam. The roller tube is a rapid deployment, roll up, take away, take down solution made on some flexible systems. They actually take up no space when they're doing, and they can be deployed very, very fast. And some of them even got the antenna built in, so you do not have to have an external antenna on the environment. Much more about that on our webpage, and you can talk to your sales responsible on that. We have a requirement for migrating different technologies together, and that can be done by our gateway solutions. So we make and provide gateway solutions between different technologies. So that's also possible. Standpoint HF radio, we have that one in our stock, and there's also the MyCom set from MyCom. And if you need any other HF brand, it's possible we have, they can be delivered as well. ED6 is a Motorola product now, and they are having these body-worn cameras with tags, etc. It's quite comprehensive, and we will have a presentation on that later. I think it's in June. Power solutions. We also provide solar kit, and where we provide everything with battery and inverters, everything that you require depending on your requirement based on the Victron Energy product. That will be available to you. It's a very, very interesting product portfolio as well. On the small power solution side, we have Goal Zero. Goal Zero is solar panels, power banks, lights, etc. There's the link to our homepage that will work in the presentation as well, where you can see the different products. So those are also available. On the satellite side, the mobile cellular communication, as I said before, we were one of the first Thorier providers in the world. We are still service providers, and we also sell a lot of these products that are mentioned here. We still have contracts with a lot of agencies for getting SIM cards, etc. On the IT backbone, we have the Cambium product portfolio, and they range from all the way down from the solutions that you have for your house, all the way up to point-to-points. And the point-to-point can go up to 250 kilometers line of sight, or the highest speed you can get through on these in the unlicensed band is 450 megabits per second, but that doesn't cover 250 kilometers, I must admit. There's also point-to-multipoint, so you have a sector where you can have different coverage environments required, and then once you have taken them down, then you can make them indoor-outdoor solutions. The CN Pilot and CN Maestro are controlling software, so you can control which bandwidth each subscriber should have. And then we have the DAMM TETRA system. The TETRA system is quite comprehensive, and TETRA actually increased on also having a DMR. You can have one box that has DMR tier 3 and TETRA on the same box, same frequency band. That took me to the end of the slide deck. My plan is to have every slide presentation to be between 1 hour, half an hour and 3/4 of an hour, and we've just exceeded 35 minutes. Now I'm opening the floor for questions. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and I will look at the Q&A. There are some questions here about pricing, and I do not want to discuss pricing on the webinar like this. For that, you can communicate to your sales representative and then a quote, because it's really depending on the so I'm just looking at the questions. So costs we will not discuss online. There's a question if we have any POC terminals in our product line. Yes, we have a vast amount of POC terminals in our product line. They're all on our homepage, which I can just try and find. So here under products, I just need to find them. I know that we have Testa as a supplier, but anyway, that can be okay. So yes, we do have POC terminals. After the webinar, we will send out the power slide deck, and the webinar will be made available as a streaming service on our homepage. There's a question about supporting UN. We are supporting UN worldwide, mostly from our HQ in Denmark, because we cannot be everywhere. We're supporting UN on the global platform, and you also get support from the dealers in country yourselves locally. I'm looking at the questions list. There's a question of an IT experienced person who wants to know about radio. Yes, the Danimex Academy is very much designed for you to learn about radio. There are some questions here I cannot answer off the bat. I will contact you directly on these questions. What are the differences between radio types TETRA, Mototurbo? Well, first of all, that is a little technical one, but let me try and explain it to you. TETRA is based on an infrastructure where you have 25 kilohertz channel spacing, and that's digitized by TDMA. And in TETRA, you have 4 time slots within this 25 kilohertz channel spacing segment. In DMR, you have 12.5 kilohertz channel segment, and once again, you're using TDMA. That gives you 2 digital time slots available on this channel. So that is the difference between TETRA and Mototurbo. TETRA radio can do TETRA only, whereas a Mototurbo radio can be programmed for channel 1 being analog, channel 2 being digital, channel 3 being capacity max or tier 3, and you can have the same thing in the so you have the same radio supporting all elements. Besides, there's a very limited number of products that actually support VHF in TETRA, but VHF and UHF are available in the DMR branch. I hope that answered your questions, but we can take that. I will write the answer to you, and then we can take the dialogue after. And there's a question about DP4401. Can they communicate with TETRA? No, not directly. They're not using the same protocol. The trainings, are they free or are they chargeable? The trainings are chargeable. So it's depending on which type of training, then they are chargeable. Also, the online trainings that we are providing right now are also chargeable. However, the webinars are for free. If there's a question I cannot answer, I will not read it out loud, but I will address it directly to you. There's another question here. There are very specific questions about products and platforms, and I honestly do not know. I need to investigate on that. There's a question about which CAMS works on the Avigilon platform. I do not know. I need to investigate. Man down feature. Man down is a radio wide facility that is in the radio. So yes, you should have possibility to have man down to work on channels. It's on the channel you are on. DMR radio cannot be used for TETRA. There's a question about, can we install analog and digital channel on Mototurbo at the same time? We were going to talk about that on the technologies on Mototurbo. Mototurbo repeater has a function that's called dynamic mixed mode. And dynamic mixed mode is when the repeater is being accessed by an analog signal, it will repeat analog. And when the timeout timer has expired, when the repeater is being accessed by a digital signal, then it will respond digital. So yes, we can install analog and digital channel on the repeater. However, it's not a solution that I recommend highly because the reason why we do not recommend that solution is that it is a one second, I just have a sorry. Sorry, I got interrupted. Let me go back to my question. So you can install digital and analog on the same infrastructure, but you also can install digital and analog side by side on the portable or mobile for that matter. So yes, you can do that. I'm just looking at the questions. There's a series of questions about ships that still use GP340. The DP4000 series is approved for ship use and can operate in analog. So that is possible to replace the GP340 with the DP4 series. That is absolutely possible. And I'm just looking at some more very specific questions as well. TETRA repeater, they work with DP44. When you're the answer, TETRA infrastructure and DP4400 is not the same technology, but I'm not sure I understand the question correctly. There's a question about supporting GP340s with analog repeaters. All Mototurbo repeaters, this is the next two events. All the Mototurbo repeaters can operate in pure analog if you so desire. So it's possible to have digital and analog repeaters it's the same product. You just program it to run analog or digital, so you can still provide analog radios on and be worked on analog repeaters. That's no problem. I just want to see, there's a lot of questions ticking in right now. There's a question, can Danimex give training on Capacity Max? Yes, we can do that. We actually have a training that is scheduled to run in the autumn. Anything you want to do on trainings, we have an Academy section, and the Academy section has the webinar section where we actually are, these are the webinars that we're looking at right now. Motor Turbo courses, then we can look at the Motor Turbo courses. The ones in the spring has been cancelled. The next scheduled Motor Turbo training is on 7th to 11th of September in Joburg. We have a Capacity Max training in Sonderborg, and we have an Academy training in Sonderborg, and we also have a scheduled Academy training in Dubai. Then we have Hytera courses. Those are mostly valid for our Nordic partners because that's where we have it. We had one that we had to postpone. No, actually that was running. And then we have one in autumn. And then there's the webinar that we're working on that's coming on this side. So there's a little about our terms and conditions. Trainings cost money, webinars are for free. And there's a question, can Hytera and Motorola work together? Yes, they can. Not in all modes, but yes, they can. There are some very specific questions about programming, and I will address them directly after the event. If your question hasn't been answered, do not worry, we will contact you directly. And please be advised, keep your eyes out for the next webinar, which will be running in 1 week's time. Topics will be, let's have a look on the webinar page. Topic will be Motorola technologies. Then we can go much deeper into which technologies are supported by Motorola. I want to thank you all for participating. Negative. Completion on the webinar is not something that we will provide a certificate for. So I would like to say to you guys, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you next week, and maybe I'll see you in real life. There's a question about the webinar. The next webinar, you have been invited for the series of webinars, so you only need to register once for this series of webinars. There's another registration for the Hytera webinar. So everybody, please stay safe. See you next week. Thank you for participating.